Y'all, can I be vulnerable with y'all? So I'm dealing with a situation now that is in regards of my severely autistic, nonverbal 5-year-old son. The synopsis of the story pretty much is my son goes to Children's Discovery Childcare, and he has been going there for a few months now. Like he's been going there for a few months, and no, like recently I noticed little things, but me, I'm the type of person where I'm not confrontational. I don't like confrontation. So if I see something and the director gives me an explanation of it for reasons why it could be, I just go with it and I move on. So to give you a backstory of why I'm making this video right now, I recently contacted DCF, CPI, for my son who goes to a daycare called Children's Discovery. And I'm saying their name because at this point, they're trying to silence me. They're trying to gaslight me. They have been trying to gaslight me and silence me for the longest. And mind you, I used to work for the company, not Children's Discovery specifically, but I did work for the village. And I'm going to just start from the beginning. I've been having problems with this whole organization, Tampa Bay Academy of Tampa, since I started working there, and I try not to allow my emotions to get the best of me. I try to be real accommodating, real understanding. But it's just so much that I can accommodate and so much that I can understand. So like I said, I'm finna bring it to the beginning and I'm finna let you know the reason why we're here now. In the beginning, I was working for Children's Discovery. During this time, I was working for the village. During this time, my son was going to their other daycare called We Care. My son and my daughter, they were going to a daycare called We Care, which is in the same organization, right? I was having trouble at that daycare just because it was just too much going on. My son wasn't being changed there. He wasn't getting enough fluids because it was like summertime when I started. So he wasn't getting enough fluids, and being that he can't talk and he can't tell you what he needs, it's like everybody just, kind of like, from my understanding, kind of bypassed him. So we kind of switched him from that daycare and we switched him over to the daycare that I was working at called The Village, right? The Village, I'm not sure when. I believe my son started going there around September. But I remember, I'm not sure exactly what day. I will have to go back and do my research and everything. But it was one day that I was working at The Village. Mind you, both of my kids were coming home from school. They were getting off the bus and coming to the village. And they weren't even on the bus. See, this company, they have their own transportation. So pretty much what I'm trying to say about this situation is the fact that these people literally, my son had an appointment. I can't quote the date exactly, but my son literally had an appointment to be seen from the doctor to get his shots or whatever during this time. And when the transporter, Miss LaShawn, when she brought my baby, when she brought all the kids to the daycare, my baby did not get out of the car. She left my baby on the van for I want to say like 5 minutes. He was out there. Mind you, I'm sitting there looking at her, like as soon as she came in, because mind you, it's like a window where you can see the front office. As soon as she came in, she sat down in the chair and she was just scrolling on the computer and scrolling on different stuff or whatever until I started banging on the window after a while, wondering where was my son, and she's like, I don't know, okay, boom, she got fired. Okay, good. The second incident that happened with my children was, first of all, when that situation happened, I had to then remove my kids from out of the village, Tampa Bay Academy. I had to move them out of there, right? So they decided, do you want your kids to go to university or do you want them to go to Children's Discovery? And I said, well, I wanted them to go to university because I like the person in charge. I like her. I like how she works. Her daycare is very organized. Every time I go in there, everybody's doing what they need to be doing, right? And I've worked there plenty of times when they needed help, so I can see all what they do in their center, and I love it. It's excellent, right? But I was told per a staff member, I'm not going to say their names because she still works with the company, and that's my girl, and I fuck with her. But she pretty much told me, no, the reason why your kids cannot go to university is because they want all the autistic kids to go to Children's Discovery because they get a lot more money. So it don't matter what's going on. They don't care about your needs and how far you stay and if you got to walk to work or if you driving or if you got to get on the bus. They care about that money. So that's another thing, right? So my kids have been going to Children's Discovery. Sorry that I'm getting mixed up. They got so many different centers, but since my son has been going there, I have noticed that my baby was not getting changed. His face wasn't being washed. They would just let him run around with no shoes on. He would have sores in his feet, right? This was all around school time. So I would tell them, I would let them know, like, hey, I noticed from I ain't gonna say her name, but a certain staff member told me that this is happening with my son. Can y'all just please make sure that y'all do right by him, put his shoes on, fix his clothes, change his diaper, whatever he needs, and that's that, right? So after that situation happened, I noticed that like my baby was he started rejecting going into the daycare. Like he did not want to go into the daycare. Like no matter what, no matter how much you pleaded, dragged him, he did not want to go to the daycare. And I just thought that, well, maybe because they be switching, their classes up. He moved to a different classroom, so he's with kids his age. He was with the 4-year-olds, now he's 5. So I thought nothing of it, right? Then it got to a point where I had to start bringing in snacks, like literally snacks every day, just so my son can feel comfortable to go to daycare. Because as long as he got his little snack, whether them his cheeses, whether them his chips, or like a little stuffy, whatever, he's all right to go to school. So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to think nothing of it. Then this one, it started getting more progressive, right? It would be most of the time I'll walk in, staff are always on their phone, scrolling on their phone, not paying attention to the kids. You go into daycare, the kids, they yelling, they cussing, they doing whatever. Mind you, I'm not saying anything, because at the end of the day, if this is how you run your stuff, as long as my kids are safe, okay, cool. But now it's to a point where my kids are not being safe. First of all, like I said, I've been having to bring him snacks or whatever to go, so he can be comfortable to go into the daycare. And so then sorry, I'm getting all over the place. Then it came a time where he had to start summer school. So summer school was from July, I want to say July the 1st to like the 15th or whatever. So it was only like 2 weeks or maybe 3 weeks, I don't know. But he started at the 2-week mark. During this time when he was going to summer school, it would be like the bus driver is legally not allowed to get off the bus, especially when you have a special needs bus. The bus driver has to stay on the bus. These people wanted the bus driver literally every day. The first day she did it. The second day she said she did it also because they were running late. But she said after that she told them that they have to be outside, to retrieve my son. Mind you, they have multiple people that work at the center. You got multiple people in different areas, as well as the director who's not assigned to no classroom. So it's just like the fact that I'm not sure what staff member said it, but I will clarify once I, get more information. But pretty much the bus driver told me that the staff member said that nobody's finna get my baby off the bus. Y'all could just send him back to school. And she said it with a nasty attitude. Okay, that was strike number 1. Strike number 2 was, and I don't have the shirt, but these are the pants that my son wore. And I don't know if you see that this is blood stains on my son's clothes. My son was punched in the face by another student, by a student that was older than him. Mind you, my son is 5. He's severely autistic. His level is number 91. He's severely autistic, right? And then they called me and they said, oh, Josiah punched somebody in the face. So here I am. I'm not being concerned or anything, because I said, well, is the little boy all right? The teacher was like, yeah, he's all right. When I get to the school, mind you, look at all the blood on my child's clothes. These are bloody clothes from when my baby got punched in the nose. And when I find the shirt which matches this bottoms, I will show you, it's blood literally everywhere. And not one y'all did not report it. Nobody gave me a documentation. Nobody gave me nothing. Everybody just kept gaslighting me and lying to my face while my son is literally up there getting beat up at the daycare. Another one is he has a lot of marks and bruises on him. Scrapes, scratches, marks and bruises. If y'all look at around my apartment, ain't shit in here. So it's nothing in here that he could be getting scratched on and scraped on. And mind you, I'm with him 24/7, So it's like all these unexplainable marks, bruises, nosebleed, just different things. But in the next slide, I will show you pictures of my son and his marks and his bruises, and hopefully I can find the screenshots so I can show you guys every time I will reach out to the director and show her, and she would pretty much just gaslight me or be like, oh, call me on the phone, because they don't like that report. They don't like texting and stuff like that. And another thing is that my baby is being kicked out of daycare. Like, what the fuck?